Okay, students, once again, Dr. Saud Malik is here, and I'm presenting one of the important chapter related to the botany, that is the content of the botany which I'm starting today, that belongs to the grade 12 as well as the biology NEET. This chapter is known as the reproduction in the flowering plants, which is going to be one of the most important part of the botany because reproduction is high weightage kind of the topic in the board examination, and we will look after it. Let's see that what we can do with it. Very interesting one. So I hope you will enjoy this particular chapter. So let's start it with the topic that is reproduction. So first of all, student, I would like to introduce that topic in a very simple language. As you know that reproduction is the name of the process by which an organism can reproduce their copies. They can produce their own copies. So same thing is here. Plants need reproduction, as we know that plants are boon to behold mankind. A very useful kind of thing. They provide us with food as well as the fruits, well, and medicines, fibers, textiles for humans. These all things are we are getting from the plants. So these plants need to reproduce continuously because that is only the way by which an organism can exist on this planet, right? And it is only the way by which they can maintain the ecosystem well. So as we know that plants can reproduce by two ways, asexually as well as sexually. So these are the two processes. So how this thing will happen? Surely you would like to know that they produce their own copies by the asexual way by any kind of the part, like leaves can take part in the reproduction, roots can take part, stem can take part, or any other part of the plant can take part in the reproduction. For example, as you know that in case of the bryophyllum leaves can reproduce many of the small kind of the plants from the leaf edges. As you know well, this is the way to reproduce asexually. So basically propagules are the small kind of the structures, you can say that, which reproduce asexually. But for the sexual way, reproductive organs are very important, you know that. All the organisms who are reproducing sexually or asexually, as you know well, asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction won't be possible until unless there is no reproductive kind of the parts, or you can say organs. So in case of the organism, you know that like animals, there is a specific system which is known as the reproductive system, right? In case of the animals, that is the reproductive system. But students, in case of the plants, that is flower. So flower is the name of the important reproductive part of the plant. Okay? So that is known as the reproductive part of the plants. Plants can reproduce only by this particular kind of structure in them. So first of all, we need to clear all the concepts related to the flower. As you know that flower is very beautiful. Normally flowers are colorful things by which we can recognize many plants, and they are making our world very beautiful and colorful. So the reproductive organ of the plant is known as the flower, and it has been of great importance to human because flowers had many aesthetic values in our life. We are keeping them very very important, as a very very important kind of thing in our life. Ornamental purpose, we are using them for the decorative reasons. On the occasions like wedding ceremony, on the birthdays or any festivals, we used to decorate our places with these beautiful things. They have a very special social value in our life and very important cultural value too. As you know that just for the uh, uh, sake of the respect, we are usually putting flower kind of things on the people. And religious values are very well known. We know well that because during puja and on occasions of the festivals, so we are putting flowers in front of the statues and putting these things for the sake of the puja. So flower are structurally divided into the different worlds. Basically, four worlds are there. Remember them. They are four worlds. So what are the worlds? You should keep that thing in your mind. If you will observe the flower, remember that flower observation in case of the botany is possible by two ways. For example, this is the rough type structure I'm drawing over here. It's a flower. That is a top thing. If you are observing from the top, like in this way, if you are observing from here, human eye is there. That is known as the top view because we are observing flower from here. And flower can be observed from this side also. That is the lateral view. So when you will see the flower from the top, obviously you will see some kind of the ring-like structure setups. For example, if I'll put them like that, so you can see some kind of structure like that. For example, these are the outermost kind of the leaves are visible from the top of the flower. That is the external most world, you can say. All right. If you will see the next one, that is mostly colorful things like I'm drawing over here. They are the color things. They are known as the second world, right? And if I'll draw the next one, that will be the third one, which are usually androecium, male part of the flower. And in the center, there is something which you can say is like female part over here. That is gynoecium. So all four worlds are set well. This is the external most world, which is very famous by the name of the calyx. It's a group of sepal. Each member of that is known as the sepal, right? And the second, the red one, which I am telling over here, they are known as the corolla. All right. Each member of them is known as the petal. It's a group of petals. And these blue one are numerous or maybe few. It depends. They are variable. They are known as the androecium. Androecium, right? And the innermost is the gynoecium, which is the female part. That is known as the gynoecium. So androecium is the male part of the plant, I mean the flower, and gynoecium is the female part of the plant. So they produce their gametes, respective gametes for the reproduction, which are necessary. So out of them, if you will see that the outermost, two outermost, like calyx and corolla, they are basically for the aesthetic value and other reasons. So they are known as the accessory whorls, okay? Accessory part of the flower because directly they are not involved in the reproduction. And the androecium and gynoecium, androecium is the male part and gynoecium is the female part. They are known as the reproductive part of the flower. All right. So you can say that two kinds of the parts of the flower. Out of them, these two are very important because they are taking part in the reproduction. Remember that corolla most of the time are colorful and calyx are green in color. As you can see, our calyx is a group of the sepal. Usually they are green in color, as you can see over here. They are green in color, and they are basically something which is during the early stage of the flower keep the bud safe, everything inside. So after maturity, that thing will remain the smaller one and the whole flower will take a bigger kind of the structure. That is the reason they are already adhere over here and they are already present over here. If you will see the next corolla, they are, as I told you, mostly brightly colored kind of the things, and they are mostly not green. If they green, they you can differentiate. You cannot differentiate them with the calyx because two green whorls, they will mix together. So ultimately, you cannot decide which one is the calyx and which one is the corolla. So you need to say them they are the tepals. Okay. So androecium is the male reproductive part of the flower, and it consisting of the stamen having filament and the anther. This thing we will discuss in detail. So don't worry about that. And gynoecium, which is the female reproductive part of the flower, which is known as the pistil or carpel, and it is also consist of stigma, style, and ovary. These are different parts of them. So this thing we will discuss in detail. Don't worry about that. So flower is very crucial. Then let's move to the event of the sexual reproduction. If you will see that sexual reproduction is a complex process which is going on step by step. So there are many structural and hormonal changes are taking place over here. Structural means those changes which are related to the structure, and hormonal changes are those changes which are related to the hormones. They are continuously happening there, and inside the flower so many changes are taking place. So altogether we cannot go for them in a single stride. So we can divide them into stages. So how many stages? If you will see that everything whatever is happening inside the flower basically is happening when the flower is in the early stage. That stage of the flower is known as the primordium stage, and the arrangement of the different whorls of the flower. Okay, so sexual reproduction in flowering plant has been divided into the following events. The first one is the pre-fertilization event, means that whatever is happening before the fertilization, because fertilization you can mark as one of the most important event during the sexual reproduction, because this is the stage when the male gamete will get connected to the female gamete, all right, and that will produce a zygote. So this event you can mark, and whatever is happening before it, that is known as the pre-fertilization event, and the rest of the thing which is happening afterwards, it that is known as the post-fertilization event. So all these events we will discuss over here. Surely that will come into the next recording. Surely you will attend it and you will get benefited of it. Thanks. Do not forget to follow, share, and subscribe our channels. Thank you so much.